land of barking dogs. Good morning, everyone. I'm just chilling down here today. It's a nice sunny day. On barracks duties, taking it handy. We're due some bad weather, so going to keep the feral ones indoors. But I thought I'd take a moment to sit down and just talk really briefly about probably one of the most requested videos I've had over the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, is my hip pouch, the new hip pouch that I'm carrying, and more specifically what I carry in that hip pouch. And I thought I'd just take a moment to sit down and do those. I don't normally do gear videos, but it's something that I get a lot of requests for, so maybe moving forward in the future it might be something you'll see on the Living to Learn YouTube channel. I might discuss some of the gear that I'm out testing that I can discuss, and then some of the gear that I've been requested to do. So at the moment it's hip pouches. I've carried a lot of hip pouches over the years, and I'll show you some of the old vintage ones there, but this is the one that I'm carrying at the moment from Nico's Leatherworks. Great guy, worth checking out. I'll leave a link up in the top there for the pages that I can leave a link on, but this is it. But I'd like to talk a bit maybe about the philosophy that I have behind it, because I don't see a hip pouch as a mini survival kit. I've never looked at it as a mini survival kit, because I found from my own personal experience that when you start scaling things down, mini survival kits almost become kind of, how could you say, redundant. You know, if I know it's nice to have things like a scalpel blade on you, or maybe some snare wire, or there's always dialing these things back, a redundancy upon a redundancy upon a redundancy, but eventually things just kind of get too small to have any real kind of purpose. Like a scalpel blade is a great one if you have it in a first aid kit, and sure, it's better than nothing, but I can't imagine much of what you could do with a scalpel blade, and I'm sure there's going to be hundreds upon thousands of suggestions for it, but like a real practical survival situation use. I think what people fail to realize that most people won't end up in a kind of a super duper survival scenario. I mean, your plane ain't going to crash, or you're not going to be stranded on a deserted island. I mean, even in the history of mankind, that's a rare thing. But the one thing that's going to happen is an awful lot of inconvenience, and that's where survival situations can truly happen. Getting lost, getting turned around, not recognizing the umbles and the fumbles of hypothermia, or situations like that can slowly progress into it. And that's where those mini kind of survival kits, to me anyway, don't really the weight, how could you say it, the cost and return doesn't really balance out. So that's what this is, and I just wanted to say that because the YouTube prepper police might get on me and say that there's so much missing from this. But this is it's not a survival kit, it's a let's counteract some inconvenience kit. It's an anti-inconvenience kit. That's what my hip pouch is. Here's some of the other ones that I used to carry. The OG one from Red Kite Leatherworks. I absolutely love this, and this is actually just retired for sentimental use. It's so old and so pliable. The leather's lovely on it. Toby put a magnetic opening and closing in here just to add a bit of redundancy to it. You know, so it's just easier to get into. You're not fiddling with toggles and gloves and stuff. But I carried this one for a long time. Like I said, it's all supple and nice. But that was one of the ones that first made me fall in love with the whole hip pouch thing. And then there's this one, which is more like my dress sword of hip pouches. This one was made by Michael Toner. You can see it's got that little bushcraft written on the back there. It's class. Living to Learn and Viking Ruins, old school kind of reenactors type pouch. Absolutely beautiful, and I like to use this for when I go to things like festivals and shows, and we all like to dress in our finery. A good hip pouch, I think, is like the formal wear of the bushcraft world. And then also on my belt, because you can't talk about a hip pouch without talking about what you carry on your belt, I'll always have a method of surefire with me, because when you fiddle around with safety matches and storm matches, it's not it. So I've started keeping my lighter, my Bic, in an Exotac sleeve. A little pricey for what they are, but I really enjoy it, and I like it so much because, one, it's waterproof. Now, we all know Bics are kind of waterproof in and of themselves, but it has this really grippy rubber coating or rubber kind of sleeve on it, so even when you do have it closed, and I like to loop these in and around my belt loop, but if you have this in your pocket, it's almost hard to get it out even with your hands, because that texture is so grippy. So it just adds that extra bit of protection to it. So that'd be in my pocket at all times. There'll always be some lighter, whether it's in an Exotac sleeve or not. There'll be my compass, again, needs no introduction. This is in so many of my videos, and the most of the videos during this crazy time have been on improving navigation skills, field and steel. But a compass is always what I'll have. Whatever pouch you carry it in is up to yourself. Over here I have what I'm carrying lately on me, and this is kind of my day hike loadout. This is just what it'd be in my car. Like I said, it's my inconvenience kit, not a survival kit. And then my little belt knife. This is the Tops Tannin Bukuko. It's a hard one to kind of get the names of, but that's her there. I like it. I'm a big fan of knives with kind of more squarish handles, just because of the grip they give you when working with gloves and stuff. But I just like a square handled knife, 90-degree spine, bow drill divot, 1095, all that good stuff. But a nice capable knife for just day hiking. In the pocket then would be the Ranger 55. Again, I've had so many questions about this, and I'll try my best to do a review on it. You can check out Knives and Tools website. There's just loads of kind of feedback reviews on that, and also you can have a look at A.I.K on Instagram, where she has done a kind of full review on these things. But people always ask about the scale of it, so there's my Puko. Again, your standard Puko, 4-inch blade, 4-inch handle, kind of a 50-50 knife mix. There's the 55 fully extended, and this is why I like it. It gives you the option of not the normal Swiss Army knife option, but if this is all you're carrying, there it is, in conjunction with the Tannin Puko. Dare I say, it's even bigger in proportion to that. It's got a locking blade, so it's not going to close on you like a regular Swiss Army knife. If you're doing work or back cuts or trying to notch, the lockback on it isn't going to fail. And then also, you got a huge saw. Again, comparison to the Tannenbaum, that's a proper saw. So this knife gives you those capabilities to manufacture what you need in the wood and quick. A great friction fire knife. Absolutely love it. This has been one of my favorite things to carry, so I'll always have this on me. This and a lighter at the very minimum when I'm out dandering in the woods. But that's what's on my belt. So I'm going to try and turn you around now, get a nice spot. Like you can see, it's kind of sunny. I'm a bit squinty. I apologize. And I'll get into what I carry in my anti-inconvenience kit just in a minute. Be right back. Now I think I got you there. Hopefully I'll get everything in frame. So the first thing that you'd see, just to help with the anti-inconvenience, and this is in no particular order, and this is exactly what I've been carrying the past while I've been out. First thing out is a little pouch that I got from Knives and Tools. It was sent in. Knives and Tools are always cool like that, and they'll try and throw in a sticker or something extra in the order from it. I did buy it to kind of protect the Ranger wood, but I've since changed it up to keep a little mini knife maintenance kit in it, just to keep on top of things. Some of you may have seen my other videos. These are just different grits of wet and dry paper, 1000, 800, 500, so on, and a microfiber cloth which is impermeated with a little bit of silicone oil, which most of the gun guys out there would know. But it's a super light little setup, and that I just keep to keep my edges sharp. And you know, like you can see here with my saw, I was going through some gnarly kind of fat wood and ferro rods and stuff, so I'd use this as a way of just touching this up in the field if I wanted to, or if I was out camping. So that's the first thing, and that nestles really nicely in my hip pouch, or you could just throw that into a pocket or a haversack. It's a pretty good one. Next out would be my little Helicon pocket pouch. I'm really in love with the Helicon medical pouches. They've got them for different size pockets. They all come with these little grab handles on them, so you can just reach into your pocket and pull them out, which I think is fascinating. This is just a boo-boo kit, just for myself, and maybe if I'm out hiking with the kids. It's got some sea-locks, some steri strips, some gloves, some painkillers. You know, I do suffer a bit from migraines from time to time. So again, like that, just a bit of an anti-inconvenience kit. But there. Hi. Next up is some cordage, just some hanks. If you've seen my posts on cordage management, it's just, again, different lengths of cord, different gauges of cord. This is my man in the woods, probably one of my most used items that I carry. And I just keep tossing in different size hanks. This is Titan cord, which, is, you can see here, is super rigid, great for ridge lines and traps or any structural stuff. Regular paracord. This is my most used piece of paracord. It's just a kind of a 4-foot length with 2 bow lines in it for hanging my pack and tripods and everything else. Small gauge bank line, heavy gauge bank line. Cordage, needs no real introduction on that, or any more introduction on that. Pocket bellows. This is a replacement for the pocket bellows. I'm always giving these away when I'm out and about or see people on courses, but this is just, again, you can see more of a convenience tool. Spruce, especially in Ireland in this weather, you mightn't always have time to process the most perfect fire. Sometimes you just want to stoke a fire up for cooking on. These things are fantastic. Can be made out of old back scratchers or whatever, but they're so commonly available now on Amazon for like $4 or $5. It's a nice one to have, and again fits easily in the hip pouch. Trash bag. Always carry a trash bag. This is the heaviest gauge one that I can find in Ireland. We've got an awful lot of restrictions when it comes to heavy plastic bags, but just a full-size trash bag. I think there's actually 2 wrapped up in here for all the stuff that a trash bag would use. Oh, forgot this was in there. So I have a ferro rod. Can't go outside without a ferro rod. Always nice to have fire. I have a milled bearing block that was made for me by Connor Gaynor. You can sit a bearing in here if you need to, but I find that the bearing block works just fine as it is, so it's just nice to have that. Anybody who practices friction fire will realize that most of the hurdles come from not having a nice bearing block or a nice friction-free bearing block, so I carry some of them on me. And live fire. I like live fire. It's a nice one there for carrying. It fits in most, like if you have a Zippo pocket on your trousers, or you on your belt knife or anything like that, that's what this is designed to kind of do. Open it up, it's got fluff, hit it with your ferro rod, you can pull this out, fluff it up, hit it with your ferro rod, snuff it out, and it's waterproof as well. It's a nice one like that. And then this bad boy hidden down the bottom, it's just some duct tape. This was made for me by my brother Mark, and it's just some duct tape wrapped around some paracord. Always nice to have a bit of duct tape to repair things and do some nice things. So there you go. That's a look at my anti-inconvenience pouch rather than my survival kit. I hope that you could see that yes, you can make it a purpose-built survival kit. And survival kits, I could add like that, the scalpel blades, the storm matches, everything else, in which I did carry. You can see my videos over the years. My hip pouch was always a mini survival kit. But what I found when I carried it as a mini survival kit was that I never used it. Arguably, like a good survival kit should be. It should be there if you need it. But I also carry, if I'm out in the woods on a proper overnight or 2-week, 3-week, 4-week trip, I'm going to carry a proper survival kit anyway. A full-size belt knife, spare matches, redundancy lighters, extra clothes, extra layers. So why carry my hip pouch? I found I'd be out in the woods with it and I'd never use it. But when I changed it, started looking at it with different eyes and looking at it more as an anti-inconvenience kit, now I use it all the time. I actually use it so much that I carry it with me on a near daily basis. When I head out to the woods, I just throw it in the top of my backpack, and then if I want to go on a scout, I take it with me, because it's all those little bits that I had when I was away on a hike and going, oh, if only I had this, or I wish I had that, and I had to walk back to my pack, or maybe I left it at home. Like the trash bag. The trash bag is one of those things that I always carry in my main bag, but you're never going to take it out, fold it up and put it in your pocket. But if it's in your hip pouch and you grab your hip pouch every time you go for a scout, then if you see some berries or you find a dead birch and you want to harvest all the bark off it, out comes your trash bag from your hip pouch. Or you're sitting down, you want to get a fire going for a coffee and it's been a bit stubborn, you got your pocket bellows, first aid kit in case you do actually nick your fingers, which is usually what happens when you're out and about in the woods when it comes to inconvenient situations. In the winter time, I put a couple of hand warmers in there, maybe a small merino buff, I'll switch it in and out. Easy game, easy life. And like I said, you will then actually more than likely use your hip pouch more often and make life easier when you're outside. Now, not perfect, and I'm sure there's many survivalist guys out there who will be losing their mind. Neither is right or wrong. I still carry an Altoids tin and stuff like that in my EDC if I am going about town. Always nice to be prepared. Hope for the best and plan for the worst. But this is just how I use my hip pouch personally, and it has meant that I use my hip pouch more and has made my life easier outside. So I'll try and keep on top of the gear reviews. Like I said, they are my most requested videos. I just never really get around to doing them because I'm just learning as much as you guys are learning outside. But that's the hip pouch. I'd love to see what's in yours, or maybe if you want to change it up and see if you can make it so that it's more of a help to you in the woods than just being something that you carry on your hip for the sake of carrying on your hip. Drop your pictures down below. It'd be cool to see them. And if you've watched it this far, stay safe, stay healthy, and peace.